Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
It's the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, Mr. Sleepy, Randy Borcherding from Paint House tells us the difference between regular and custom paint. I see that smile on your face. You can't take it off of there.
He's been drinking.
Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Dziekan. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. And as I mentioned, it's Randy Borcherding, ladies and gentlemen, from Paint House, Houston's premier custom paint facility and customizer, Randy Borcherding. Did you like Mr. Sleepy? Oh, he's got
you have to unmute your
you
phone.
Unmute yourself, Randy. We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Randy. My God, he sleeps in late last week, and this week we can't hear him.
There we go. How's that?
Much better.
There you go.
Yeah.
Coming from the paint mixing room, it looks like.
My secret lair.
We have to make sure that you're still married to Jen because you need somebody to take care of you, and I know that she does.
Oh, that she does. You're right.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's the one.
Yes.
And you're right. I need it. I definitely need it.
Yeah, no doubt, because your life is chaos up there at the Borcherding pad and Paint House. Yeah, and you.
Palatial
we call it the Lazy Bee Ranch.
The Lazy Bee. You got it. Well, you slept in last week, so we thought we'd start the show a little bit late so we'd make sure that you were awake for this week's show. Yeah.
You're gentlemen and scholars.
Well, definitely the scholar part.
No, I don't know.
Randy,
what's up? What's up, fellas?
Here's what we're kind of throw this out at you. I know that there's a difference between car paint and house paint, but there's also differences among car paint. Labels, kinds, brands,
mixtures,
all that. So why don't you walk us through it? Because some paint is no longer allowed to be sprayed on cars. Am I correct?
Yeah, like lacquers and maybe some of the older enamel products just aren't. Maybe they're not illegal, but they're not used anymore.
Why aren't they used anymore?
Durability factors and probably cost. These urethanes we're using now, and even deeper into that, the water-based products are so much more durable, color fast in the sunlight. They match better when you need to repair them. So it's just an evolution of the technology, I suppose, is the biggest answer, the best answer for that.
So when I take the car over to Earl Scheib for $29.95 and want to have it painted, do I have a choice of paint?
I think so. I haven't been there in decades. But I do think there are levels you can purchase, yes.
I got you.
So has the EPA also impacted the automotive paint industry with their restrictions on, say, the old style enamels? Whatever happened to Imron? That was supposed to be the latest and greatest about 20 years ago.
God, I haven't heard that in a decade.
Honestly, I don't shoot that brand, so I don't even, it may still exist. I don't know. That was a DuPont thing, which is now a company called Axalta bought DuPont. So it may still be out there. I know it was big in the airplane industry, aircraft industry and boats back in the day because it was very durable. I think the biggest change going from lacquers and enamels to what we use now is the addition of a catalyst or a hardener that takes that resin that's the base of the color and makes it harden into almost what we call a plastic. Essentially, you're putting a plastic on a car. You're coating it in a plastic.
Is that what comes in a factory paint job?
In a sense, they use a different chemistry than we do. We couldn't spray what they spray, and they don't spray what we spray, and that's where color matching can be tricky at times because some of these silvers and golds and three-stage colors, the candy reds and the pearl whites, what they spray at the OEM level is not the same chemical product that we would spray in our shop. So getting a color match can be a challenge at times.
Can you get that factory paint?
You can, but it's not the same actual product the factory sprayed. It's a paint company's interpretation of that color in their chemistry.
Yeah.
And so PPG or Axalta or BASF or whomever.
And what paint company do you prefer that you use?
We are pretty much married in many ways to PPG. Just been using them from day one. They've been really good to us over the years. There are other wonderful products out there. The Buick we recently painted that went on to win the Slonaker Award at the Grand National was a Sherwin-Williams paint job. So we made a color in Sherwin-Williams and used that product and had great success with it as well. There's a lot of good products out there.
I didn't even know that.
Pick one and learn how to use it.
I didn't know that Sherwin-Williams made car paint.
I didn't either. I'm thinking that's what I use on my house, but never thought about the car.
Yeah, but Randy doesn't put it on with a roller.
I use brushes.
There's times I put primer on with a roller.
Oh, God.
So, well, you just mentioned something, and let me see if we can expand a little bit on that. You made a paint, you made a color, and I know that what inspires you to some of these colors. I know a while back you created a color called Perlot, and I think it must have been like right at the end of the bottle of Merlot. You had a little bit left in the glass. But what?
And dropped some pearl in it, right?
So, what inspires you to create some of the colors you do?
A lot of times it's the customer's request, or we're taking a factory color and just modernizing it with a different metallic, or I'll use a pearl instead of a metallic. So it's reminiscent of the original color, but has a more vibrant and, in my opinion, a more repairable product is the end result. So you get a color that looks bright and clean and sparkles real nicely in certain lights. But yeah, when you have to fix it, you can. And that can be tricky with some of these colors these days, particularly on the OEM level. A lot of these colors, they've even gone to 4-stage paints now, where the color of the sealer under the color also affects the final color. So if you spray it over too light or too dark of a sealer, you'll never get the same color.
Okay.
So it can be tricky. And quite honestly, I don't miss having to match those type of finishes.
Yeah.
And that's why I make my own, because I can make it myself and match it myself.
Because you have you know what your recipe is. Yeah,
correct.
I remember when GM came out with the Diamond White. What a nightmare that was for body shops to match.
Some of these colors, like the champagnes that were on the Suburbans and Tahoes forever, there'd be 15 or 20 or 25 variants on one paint coat. And how do you determine which one it is? It's tricky. I don't envy the painters in the collision shops.
Does because what I always had everybody refer to, does the WA number truly identify the recipe they used, or is that
it identifies the main color, and then from there are multiple variants usually, and you have to determine, is it lighter, darker, lighter flop, darker flop, redder, greener, bluer? All those things play into it. And as I've been told by my friends at PPG, a lot of that is a factor of how little time the OEM spends cleaning out the lines that the paint travels through when they're painting cars or trucks. They'll pull up a tanker truck of a color and paint, I don't know, say 100 pickup trucks. And then the next, say they're painting it black. And then the next run is this champagne color. Well, they may only allow 5 seconds to flush out those lines, and there's going to be residual color left in there, and that affects the next batch of color. So it can be very complicated in trying to match these things.
And when you mention flop, for our listeners, flop is kind of how the color changes depending on your angle of view and the type
Correct.
of light that's on it.
Well,
so
it's a round edge or a sharp edge on the vehicle.
And it's the reflection of the material, the metal flake or the pearl that's in there. And sometimes that flop done differently can actually be a different color depending on the angle of light.
Yeah, we've all seen them going down the highway. You see a car that passes you, and from one angle it looks fine, and as soon as it passes you, all of a sudden the fender is a whole different color. Well, that's because at a different angle the light is refracted differently, and you get what we call a flop difference, and that's what happens. And it can be hard to manage. The difference between a metallic and a pearl, for example, is light bounces off of metallic, let's say like a mirror, where light passes through a pearl. So there's reflection versus refraction. And that's where pearls get that glowing effect. And I use a lot of pearls in my colors because I like how it affects the shadow side, the light side, and you get a real nice clean sparkle out of it without so much of the flop problems you get out of metallics.
What is your favorite color?
Don't have one. The next one.
The next one. Okay.
So what is your next color?
We just sprayed a dark pearl blue. The next one, as silly as it sounds, is plain white.
Oh, okay.
Not a pearl, just solid white.
Refrigerator
We've
white.
got a 68 cutlass. It's going to be white. And
oh, thank you.
As boring as it sounds, even white can be tricky.
Well, I found that out through our good friend over at Sweet Rides, and the fact that he was beside himself when I told him I wanted the car painted white.
He said,
the Corvair. He said, what? I said, yeah, I want it the brightest color I can find. Well, I don't know of a brighter color than white. And so,
yeah.
And, so that's what we did. We put some great big black racing stripes on it, and it worked great. I got exactly what I was looking for.
But white has its variation of, I'll call it color shade, because I've watched people mix white, and they're adding a little bit of yellow or they're adding a little bit of blue in it to create that variance in the white of the vehicle.
Oh, even white flops.
Yeah, and it takes very little to change white. 1 or 2 drops of blue or red in a quart of color just drops. It's a completely different color, and you'll never get it right if you don't know that you added that.
Well, I'm going to have to come over and see your 68 Cutlass, because if I saw it on the trailer, you had posted a picture of it. Looks like it was a convertible as well. Is that correct?
We bought it. I had to go to Phoenix to find this car. The car we're starting with was just a rust bucket. Even the frame was rusted to the point where it wasn't safe. So I found a car in Arizona and drove north of Phoenix to pick it up and bring it back. And here's the sacrilege of it. The car we bought is truly a rust-free 442, but we're going to make it into a Cutlass. So we're going the other direction.
Wow.
Most people would take a Cutlass and make a fake 442.
Right.
But in this case, it was the best body I could find. It just happens to actually be a 442. But the customer wants a Cutlass because that's what they drove in college. And they're, replacing a car they had in the past. That has good memories.
My brother had a 69 Cutlass, and I had a 71 Olds, just standard Olds.
So do you have any plans on this car making a couple of shows on its way through your hands?
I'm sure it will. They all tend to get that experience once they're done. It'll be the typical, somewhat of a resto mod. My phone's ringing. I don't know if you can still see me or not.
Yep, we can see.
Yeah, there you are.
Little vibrations.
Anyway, it's getting an Art Morrison chassis, an LS3 that will be dressed to look like an Oldsmobile engine.
Oh, cool.
4L70 automatic overdrive. Just kind of the standard treatment on these muscle cars, but it'll make it a much better car.
You'll make it a driver.
And that's what they intend to do, and it will be built to do that.
Very good.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So what color was the C3 Corvette, that blue Corvette? What color did you create for that?
It is a dark pearl blue. Can I flip the camera around on this? I can
Yeah.
get out there.
Go for it. Yeah.
Let me figure out if there's a way to do it here. I found it. All right, here we go. Into the shop we go. It's got the wide fender kit.
Nice.
We just finished blacking out the engine bay. And the engine will be orange, so it'll really stand out. But
oh my
there's
gosh!
the color.
Wow!
Oh wow!
That's beautiful.
Tell me that's not
And
electric.
It's got the big hips, so it's going to be a neat one. Again, on a Morrison chassis, LS3. This one's a 5-speed manual, so it'll be fun.
And what year is that, Randy?
68. I'm sorry.
68.
Yeah, 68. This is one we painted a while back. It's an all original, one owner, 6,000 miles.
Nice.
On a little 280Z.
Why did you paint it with only that few miles on it?
It just needed a freshening up. The paint had aged its lacquer it was painted back in the lacquer days.
Yep.
And we wanted to put a modern modern finish on it, but it's the original color. We didn't make the color. We just pulled up the paint code and sprayed what Datsun put on them.
Gotcha.
Was that
But
the Mopar you just kind of panned over? Is that Moulin Rouge?
I call it Ransberry.
Ransberry.
But there was a specific color for the pink Mopars. It's a name
Yeah,
for it.
they
it wasn't
had
metallic.
Panther pink, I
Panther
think they
pink.
called
That's
it.
what it was.
So this one's, again, another interpretation of a factory color, but with our spin on it. But with Mopars, you can do this. They're the only company who can get away with this color on.
Cool. So yeah, you don't have a standard color that you roll in and out of. You are any color works for you. You just want to make it yours.
I have a question, Randy. On that Corvette, you've got plastic covering that vehicle when you spray. You were blacking out the engine compartment. You said you got plastic. Is it plastic or paper to tape off and mask off? What is preferred, and why both?
We use a combination. In a collision shop, they probably just use plastic because it's made to accept the overspray, and you just cut it out with a razor blade, right next to where you're spraying, and then just mask it and spray. But in our world, I like to use paper next to where I'm painting, and then the plastic just covers the rest of the vehicle.
For any kind of overspray or whatever.
Exactly.
So what is the advantage of the paper right there?
We spend a lot of time masking because we can't have overspray, and we paint everywhere. So you're always protecting something.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Good looking.
Well, what fun.
It is fun. It's a lot of work, and I would say the main difference between this and what we'll call just a normal paint job or an OEM paint job is probably just the amount of product that's put on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not only from a paint standpoint, but there's body filler involved. You're going to prime it and block sand it multiple times, and the color part, the actual blue, 3 or 4 coats, just like the OEM, no big deal. All you want to do is establish the color.
Is it
But
1
the clear
gallon
coat-
or 1 gallon or 4 gallons it takes to cover that car the way you want it?
In this case, less than 1.
Less than 1.
This color covers very well. The Roadrunner, the Ransberry color, it took quite a bit more because it's a somewhat translucent, so it took more coats to get
More
even
pearl.
coverage. But this one covered really well.
And then how much clear will you put over the top?
In this case, I've got 6 coats of clear, where in the OEM world, you might have 2 at most.
And the 2 that they put on sometimes looks like they put it on with a roller, because I know that's always been one of the complaints about OEM paints is the orange peel effect.
Yes, sir. And that's why we put so much on, because we're going to take a lot of it back off.
Yeah, we
We essentially block sand the clear coat before we polish it to get that mirror finish.
You've got a couple of empty spots in that shop. You looking for more projects?
No, I'm not. Not right now. We are blessed and busy and just trying to get some of them to leave, quite honestly.
But it looks like you got 4 of them that are in the process of paint, or you just finished
Yep.
paint.
So when's that Corvette?
Go ahead.
When's that Corvette due out?
It'll probably be out midsummer. We're building the chassis right now. We're putting it back together after paint and powder coat, and the engine will go in. We'll do a photo shoot with the chassis, and then we can marry the body and the chassis back together, and it goes to upholstery.
Is it a SEMA plan?
I think so. Yeah, we'll have it out there. I'm not sure with whom yet, but the goal would be to show it off out there and good guys, that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, because you've had quite a bit of success at SEMA through the last few years, being a Battle of the Builders, and I don't see that they did it last year with your was it you brought the Ranchero out, didn't you? I didn't see a Battle of the Builders last year.
There was a Battle of the Builders. I don't think it got the publicity that it has in years past. Don't know why, but it just didn't seem to get the airplay or the marketing, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Yeah, never
what
heard
the
anything
reasoning
about
was
it.
there.
Yeah.
But it did happen.
Cool.
And was the Ranchero part of it?
That was 2019 that the Ranchero was Battle of the Builders.
How cool.
The year before COVID.
Nice to get that recognition from your peers.
Oh, indeed. I mean, it's quite the purest form of judging, I think. Without politics and favoritism, it's guys who know what they're looking at, and girls, look and letting you explain your build, your reasoning, your creative ideas. So you get to share it with them versus them just blindly judging it and looking how much dust you forgot to wipe off.
and they know what you're talking about when you explain it to them.
Well,
exactly.
Randy,
and they can appreciate the details and what it took to make some of those small things that most people wouldn't see.
Well, Randy, we hate to cut you short, but we've got it's great to talk to you as always, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us on this Saturday.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to go back and take a nap.
All right, brother.
Thanks.
I'll be right there with you about 2 hours. Take care, Randy.
Right,
see you then. Randy Borcherding with Paint House. All right. We'd love to hear from you. You can always shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History. Conrad has that.
The year was 1900, and the British royal family received their first motor car, a Daimler Mail Phaeton. Not too impressive of a car, but for the royal family to take it, it had a pretty good following in its day. In 1920, Walter Chrysler resigned from General Motors. Chrysler had led the Buick division to record sales, and he also served as an executive vice president for production for GM. He sold his stock in General Motors worth $10 million when he left the company, and then went on to start Chrysler Corporation, and all of the conglomerate that has become through the years. In 1970, Buddy Baker, driving a 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona, became the first person to break the 200-mile-an-hour closed-circuit record. He did that at Talladega in one of the Winged Warriors. In 1968, the annual New York International Auto Show opened its doors to the public. And what was the star of the show?
The Serve 1.
The Corvette prototype, the mid-engine prototype that they showed, which was the XP880. The father of the Corvette, Zorro Duntov, designed the car hoping to create a production model of a mid-engine V8 Corvette, and this was the one that they showed at the New York Auto Show. And now, I think looking back, Zorro would be quite proud of the C8 and the iterations of the C8 that are out there. In 1998, German automaker BMW bought Rolls-Royce for $570 million.
These are the guys that are in charge of the check engine light on Jag.
That's them. That's them. Well, they all need to be taken out and
checked engine
whipped,
beat with a stick. In 2008, Ford Motor Company announced the sale of its Jaguar and Land Rover division to Tata Group, one of India's oldest and largest business conglomerations. So you could always say that Jaguar and Land Rover are nice Tatas.
Let me hear it, Jeff.
No.
In 2009, Rick Wagner, the chairman of General Motors, and at that time in 2009, GM was in a lot of trouble. He resigns at the demand of the Obama administration. During Wagner's time of more than 8 years at the top job at General Motors, the company lost billions of dollars, and 2008 was surpassed by Toyota as the world's largest selling maker of cars.
Way to go,
trucks.
Rick.
Yeah, way to go,
Rick.
And then Mary Barra was given the job based on the Obama administration recommendations.
Given the job.
And she said, hey, you think Wagner lost him a lot of money? Hold my beer and watch this. And GM, that was the time I was involuntarily separated from GM.
Involuntarily separated.
Okay. GM has virtually collapsed since then. So don't let the government run your business. And that is This Week in Auto History.
Terrific. Thank you, sir. Auto news. Shall we do a few?
Do a few.
Do the thing that you do so well, Don.
Okay.
Do that voodoo that you do.
Let's see, 54. Well, let's do this. Ford is again increasing the price of some models of its F-150 Lightning electric pickup, with the base model now starting at $61,869, including shipping, up about 50% over the initial starting price when the truck was launched 1 year ago. Wow. Price hike comes As the automaker reopens retail order banks for current reservation holders, resumes vehicle shipments, and returns to full production at its Rouge Electric Vehicle Center following a February battery fire.
Yeah, they had to pay for the new fire suppression system.
Ford said the price changes are a result of current material costs, market factors, and supply chain constraints. The company restarted Lightning production on a limited basis earlier this month, last month, after a 5-week pause as it sorted out the battery issue, which led to a recall for 18 of its vehicles.
So Lightning does strike twice.
General Motors plans to phase out widely used Apple CarPlay and Android Auto technologies. Did you hear that? You want me to repeat that?
Widely used, so let's cancel it.
General
right?
Motors plans to phase out Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that allow drivers to bypass a vehicle's infotainment system, shifting instead to built-in infotainment systems developed with Google for future electric vehicles and to spy on you.
That's right.
Apple CarPlay and Android Auto systems allow users to mirror their smartphone screens in a vehicle's display on the dash. GM's decision to stop offering those systems in future EVs, starting with the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer, could help the automaker capture more data on how consumers drive and charge EVs. GM plans to offer Apple CarPlay and Android Auto mirroring systems in its combustion models. Owners of vehicles equipped with mirroring technologies will still be able to use the systems. GM is designing the onboard navigation and infotainment systems for future EVs in partnership with Alphabet Incorporated's Google.
Because so many other things they've done like this have worked so well, they're going to take Apple CarPlay.
You know, I find just a little bit of bitterness in your voice
Yeah,
when you
a
say
lot.
things like
just
that.
a little.
I think
just a little.
it's the delay in starting. He's like all wound up.
Yes. Yeah.
Your meds
Most
are kicking
definitely.
in, aren't they?
Well, I was going to ask Randy if he knew why all the white paint peeled off of the GM trucks.
Mary Barra is aiming for $20 billion to $25 billion in annual revenue from subscriptions by 2030. So not only are they going to spy on you, then they're going to sell you all the stuff in the computer.
Oh, subscriptions. I thought you said prescriptions.
Well,
Here, take this and buy a GM vehicle. Sorry.
and like it.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything else that you want to get off your chest? Just one.
Always is.
I
Always
know.
is.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. And take a quick break, and we're right back with hour number 2 of our late in the afternoon show on In Wheel Time.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 13th through 15th at NRG Center. Featuring 2,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at mecum.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Resto-Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.